Well, hi everyone. I'm Liz LeClaire with CHWE, and I'm here with Kelly, and I'm here with our illustrious guest, Tristan and Jonathan, who are going to explain in a few minutes the kind of things they do and how they want to serve the world, serve care, serve CHWE, the CHWE community. And I'm going to start with Tristan. Tristan, how are you today?
I'm really good. I'm having a great day.
Yeah, it looks like everyone here looks so radiant. It's like so great. Well, Tristan, why don't you give us a brief bio on yourself?
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share with the community. I'm super excited to be here with you all. So I grew up in Northern California in Palo Alto with a single mom. And I attended my first meditation when I was 4 years old. My dad took me to a meditation in San Francisco Golden Gate Park. And he was very spiritual. And I ended up reading a bunch of spiritual books growing up. Siddhartha, I read the book Siddhartha when I was 9. My dad was part of an eco village called The Farm in Tennessee. So I read Mind at Play and different books about spiritual midwifery, for example. And then I moved to Southeast Asia for 2 years when I was a teenager, and I went to Singapore American High School, and I read a bunch, like a whole stack of books on Eastern philosophies and religions. And I would read them and reread them, very fascinated by meditation, absolutely, from a young age. And but it wasn't until the year 2000 here in Iceland. So I'm originally Northern California. Then I moved to Ireland after I graduated from theater arts, moved to Dublin, was in theater for 6 years. And then I came to Iceland on a World Peace Conference and fell in love, got married, had babies. And then in the year 2000, I was in a 9-day meditation retreat in Iceland. And it was something that just knocked my socks off. Like my life changed. It was deep dive into spirituality. And the teacher had been around the world with different various masters, and his dad had been professor of Buddhism at Harvard, but he'd been with Osho in India. He'd been with Kalindi in San Diego. He'd been all over the world with Reiki masters, Sufi masters. And what we were doing in this retreat was kind of a hodgepodge or blend, his blend of things. It was called the light training. And the idea was come into the light and stay in the light. And I just got on fire. And after 9 days, I was like, my rest of my life, I'm going to be meditating. This is what I've been looking for maybe my whole life. Because what happened was my childhood memories came back to me of childhood experiences, mystical experiences. My memories started coming back to me of when I first encountered God, when I was a child at 2 years old, crying in my crib, and my parents were divorcing, and I felt my soul was being ripped in half, and Heavenly Father came and stood by my crib, and I felt all my pain wash away, and I was just in the light, and I just was full of joy, and I knew that everything would be okay. That was the message. But I had a number of these spiritual experiences as a child. I had a visitation with Lord Jesus, and who told me that the energy of God would be coming to the planet like never before, to a power and intensity that I would be able to find my way home. Because I was in my visitation experience, my soul was asking, why wasn't I with him and his disciples? And we were sitting on the grass. And because my heart was pounding, and I wanted to be with him. I'd spent a whole lifetime as a nun, giving everything to him, and felt like I was married to him and everything, but it hadn't made it through those pearly gates or whatever. Anyway, I'm kind of going all mystical on you guys, but I had these experiences. Also had an experience of going through cycles of birth and death from starting as a one-celled organism. So for millions and millions of years, like evolving up the life chain and being all different kinds of human beings, or first animals, one-celled organism, through all these animals, like evolving up, and then being different people, and then standing in these, in this body, and looking kind of like into this portal and seeing where all of humanity is going into this world of incredible light and incredible love and incredible all possibilities and all this creativity and beauty. And I was so reassured, like we're all of humanity, all living beings are going home at some point. So this resonated in me, this idea of home, and idea of breaking the cycle of birth and death, which I connected to this idea when I was in this 9-day retreat. And I knew that it would be part of my life. And then so got really deep into the whole spiritual thing, retreats and meditation classes and always hosting these events at my home, and but never thought I would be leading meditation. I always thought that meditation was just there to help me to lead an awesome life. But then I started teaching when I came home to Iceland in 2012. I got trained in breath work and in modern day meditation, and I started leading classes, and it came to me by surprise that that was the most fulfilling thing I'd ever done, beyond, because I'd been doing different creative things, but this was like the most meaningful work I'd ever done. And then started doing some retreats, and I started this company Flow in 2016 with an idea. Let's bring tools and apply, let's bring access to the profound benefits of meditation, the deep, profound benefits, let's bring them to people in a way that's never been done before, kind of a revolutionary way. And started working with immersive technology. And then we created a VR app, and started working with companies, gaming companies, banks, energy companies here in Iceland. And really was great experience. So that's my segue into where I am today.
That is great. And you're just ready for the next question, which is, tell us what you've created with Flow. Tell us about Flow.
Thank you, Liz. So with Flow, we have a platform, a digital platform, a technology platform that provides these tools, immersive tools in VR, web, and mobile, and corporate programs, which we've been developing since the get-go. We've been working with companies since 2016. So getting groups of people, getting employee wellness, that type of thing, providing the headset, the mobile app, the web app, so that you can actually meditate. So I thought I would just give a demo right now. So so we started the company in 2016, and we're in this trajectory now where we worked with a lot of companies in the Nordics, and now we want to work in the United States market and Canada and other places in Europe. We were actually creating a Dutch version of Flow next with some partners over there. So I'm going to share my screen. And with Flow, our mission is to really have a profound impact on health and wellness using immersive technology and being on the cutting edge. And the problem is that, you can see the picture of me meditating right now? Okay. So the problem is that everybody knows that meditation is a good idea, but it's one of those things that people have a very hard time to carve out time, even just 1 minute to pray and meditate. So even me, who I love it and I'm in love with it, it's hard for me to carve up a morning program. Sometimes I sit. So the idea being, how can we get everyone to meditate more? How can we make it easier access? So we created Flow. I'm just going to play this little video, which will hopefully give you a good flavor of it.
Imagine freedom from mental stress and exhaustion, with happiness and well-being woven into the fabric of society. Imagine living in a flow with the benefits of meditation at your fingertips, like more balance, joy, and peace of mind. Imagine restoring your natural energy reserves.
I invite us to reimagine our idea of meditation to include some new tools.
You'll find Flow in virtual reality, on your screens, or through your mobile app. Flow empowers you to feel better instantly with awe-inspiring Icelandic nature, curated music by internationally acclaimed artists, and highly effective guided meditations. You can learn, practice, and master meditation effortlessly with your eyes open from wherever you are. Get focused, energized, and ready to conquer your day and make positive changes in your life. Peace of mind is yours in Flow.
So I thought this might be a nice moment for us to just do a 30-second meditation together, which is a breath meditation. It's the first meditation we ever published.
We begin our meditation by taking full, deep breaths. As you inhale, feel the sensation of your breath filling your lungs from the belly to the top of the chest.
Make an effort to expand your breath, creating more space inside of yourself. On the exhale, you can relax and release the effort.
So the idea being that, you know, when you have nature imagery, when you have music, when you have kind of a safe space that's been created for you through visuals, through the immersive experience, or even just having it on your screen, or just even just audio guided. But it's very supportive that you can have a deeper dive, a deeper connection to yourself and to your higher power, to God, however you want to frame it. When people turn within and start to tune into their breath and go in the direction of the heart, that's where all the best qualities are there. Our courage, our patience, our kindness, the joy, love, peace, forgiveness, gratitude, courage, determination, humility, the ability to be in right action, to listen, you know, and what to be guided by our intuition and by the Holy Spirit, however you want to think about it. That's where it starts. So we want to create tools that people can have that easy access. So we have the tools now, all via our web and mobile. We have the mobile app. You can go to flow.is and download it in iOS or Android. You can access it in VR through some different platforms. Our traction is pretty great because we have 5-star ratings on both iOS and Android, the Play Store and the App Store, Play Store. And then we also have we have the VR apps are very highly rated, and we've done these corporate programs. So we even were being tested on Singapore Airlines before COVID. And we've done a pilot with Equinor, which is Norway's big energy company. Vodafone had us for years before COVID. PwC, we got 90% of the staff at PwC to meditate during audit season. That was one of our greatest victories. And then we did an independent study, and with the outstanding results, which were published in the Iceland and national newspaper. And so we've also been covered by BBC Click. This technology show, BBC, came to Iceland. They wanted to see how we do our immersive content, so we took them up the volcano. It's a really cool piece. I'll send a link to that. And and we work with artists like Sigur Rós and have a artistic community standing behind us. So Flow is unique. There are a lot of meditation apps out there. As we know, there's thousands. Since Headspace and Calm reached unicorn status many years ago, there's just been a flood into the market, and a lot of great stuff out there. And every app has its own flavor and own qualities. What we do, it's unique. It's because we have the immersive experiences. We have Icelandic nature, carefully curated music, and the 6 modes of flow, which is a methodology where really, like, we've been able to get people working from the federal bank or whatever corporation, just like people who wouldn't normally meditate, to have a really striking experience. Something that could be, even life-changing. So getting people to breathe, move their bodies, let go, actively release stress from the mind and body, and then to get from there to that calm place where they can focus their mind successfully on what's important and attract. That's when you focus on these, like, this is what I love about UNN, learning to manifest. It's personal, it's positive, it's present tense. You can say these words to yourself. I am calm, I am present, I am focused, I am grounded, I am loving, I am creative, whatever it is you want to be. You can just say these words and that energy just starts to come to you. And that's the most powerful thing we can do in meditation, is to focus our mind on manifesting, on what we want to be, what we want to see, what we want to create, and what we want to, how we want to flow. And so the focus part of the meditation is one of my favorites in flow, could, a meditation called Preparing for Your Best Day, but visualize how you want your day to be, and see yourself and it happening, and bringing your intention forward into your day. And then the final mode of flow is restore, which is the full body relaxation, where you integrate your experience, everything that you had in your meditation, you remember what happened for yourself, or you can just go for like that whole body scan, that deep full body relaxation. And what I like to do sometimes with flow is stack the meditations together, like a breathe, calm, focus, and restore, the calming ones, not the movement and let go, but the ones that really take you deep, and then play it for half an hour before bed and go to bed so relaxed and have a deep, deep sleep. It's a great method for deep sleep. So, I have the market for, that's this, like, sorry, I didn't even show this slide, but there's a big market for flow. The subscription plans, this is how we work. We have our apps are available on these different platforms, and you can have the VR web or mobile apps for $3.99 a month, a great price for consumers. But then what we do is we bundle that together, and we do corporate packages with workshops as well. And we sell to enterprise through going to trade shows. And now we have a new partner in Holland, so it's like a reseller. Yeah, I'm just kind of going into some details here, but we have an amazing team, and including award-winning filmmakers. Sorry, I skipped over that. I don't want to go too much detail. But yeah, in this final slide, you see a QR code, and you can take a picture of that and download your app. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. I would love to collaborate with the CARE and CHWE and help people to have these meaningful, profound meditative experiences that can actually help us as individuals and help us collectively to evolve, to speed up our spiritual transformation.
Oh my gosh, this is fantastic. Tristan, thank you. I don't even have to ask my last question, which is where you want to take this. I know where you want to take it. I actually also see that you probably could help some other people in nascent businesses, entrepreneurs, get set up in business, because you've got this all going on. Like, I'm like, whew, this is great. How to start business, because that's not my strength, but it is probably Kelly's. But I love that. And I love your assistance in supporting and helping out. And all the sponsors you have and the corporations you've sold to. This is great. I have some questions, but I'd like to, unless there's a burning question from Tim or Kelly, I'd like to move to Jonathan in a minute. But any last words you want to say, Tristan? And then we'll save time for questions later.
Yeah, I guess I could say that my longer term dream, like once we've created a strong foothold in the corporate or healthcare, however that flows, I would really like to empower meditation teachers that are out there that are doing great work, to have a place, have a platform for them to share their gifts to the world, because I know how hard it is to create something, to create a digital product. It's very stressful and it's a big roller coaster ride. So always from the get-go was the vision of empowering people, but really to empower also the ones that are devoting their lives and giving so much in service to people by being teachers and all that good stuff. So I guess I'll just leave it at that, and thank you so much.
I love that, Tristan. Thank you so much. I have like 5 questions myself. I'll let maybe Tim or Kelly go first, but you're getting a prayer hands from Kelly and hearts from Kelly. It's so great. Thank you so much. Jonathan, hello. How are you today?
Hi.
Hello from the
How you
UK.
doing?
Yeah, we're doing
Yes,
great.
I mean, thank you so much for inviting me on today. It's a great pleasure to be with you. And yeah,
It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. I'm in the UK. I'm actually in the north of Scotland, in a very beautiful area, which is.
Oh, I want to go to Scotland so badly. But first, how about give
I
us a brief?
recommend it.
Yeah, I want to come to
recommend
Beltane.
it.
I want to come to Beltane one year. But anyway, what can you give us a brief bio of yourself?
Yeah, sure. If you'd allow me to share my screen.
Oh yeah, Tristan, if you don't mind stopping, we'll let
Absolutely.
Jonathan hop on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, so beautiful.
When we tested this last time, it froze up immediately. So we'll see if it works properly first time. Is that
Yep, we can see.
Yeah, great. So yeah, again, thank you. And thanks very much to Tristan. That was really, really interesting. And I can so relate to a lot of what you said. And interestingly, I had an experience surrounding meditation. I had an experience with a shaman. I think it was back in 2019 or 2020, where I experienced some plant medicine and I asked for more energy. What I meant was stamina. So you have to be careful what you ask for. But I got the most amazing gift you could ever imagine. And what I was able to do was I formed a capacitor with my hands, and I felt the intensity of the energy between my hands. And when I closed the circuit, I went immediately into a fifth dimensional consciousness or immediately into a meditative state. And ever since, I've been able to do that, and it's just incredible. But the power of meditation is, thank you so much for your talk. Anyway, yeah, so yeah, I'm John Tuck, and I guess to explain it as concisely as possible, I had a life-changing accident at the age of 8. I essentially broke my head in a push bike accident. So that's me post hospitalization. I was basically what I did was I hit my head on the curb on the left hand side, and my brain bounced across. And I don't know if you can see the scars that I have where they operated on me. I had a massive blood clot on the brain and was in a coma for 2 weeks. And at that time, the doctors said to my parents that I had a 30% chance of a normal life, or not becoming a cabbage, which was acceptable terminology at the time. I was predicted that I'd be in a wheelchair by the age of 30. To cut a long story short, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. And I think without that experience, I couldn't possibly and wouldn't possibly have achieved or strived to understand everything that I've believe I've made an impact on ever since. And I certainly wouldn't be the person that I am now. Essentially, there were 2 elements which fascinated me even at that early age. And one was the physical side of things. So because I was 8 years old and was still growing, and when I came to from the coma, I was paralyzed completely in my right side. So 2 things came from that. Firstly, was that my growth was stunted in my right side. So I was subject to multiple operations, physiotherapy, and a lot of physical disruption until about the age of 30. I was having operations. The second or more positive element of it immediately was that I was predominantly right-handed. I was dominantly right-handed, but I had to learn to do everything with my left hand. And it didn't occur to me till many years later that actually that was of tremendous benefit to me, because what it did was it made me very left brain, right brain balanced, which I believe gave me a very, I'm very grateful for the ability to be able to observe a bigger picture and have a more holistic perspective of anything I'm looking at. So I was extremely grateful for that. I think more than anything, it gave me absolute determination and drive to prove the doctors wrong. So as I said, one side of it was the physical element of it. The other side, which fascinated me tremendously, was the psychological side of things. So for example, at the age of about 14, I started studying human psychology. So I was just fascinated to see whether, because I could see my friends and family had similar questions to myself. And that was exactly, why is it in my conscious I see myself as a certain person with certain behavior, yet when it comes to it, that's not me at all. Why is that? And I'd see my friends and family present themselves as someone that actually they weren't. So I decided that if I could understand why it was they were in that situation, then perhaps I could understand why I was. And that was kind of a lifelong ambition and passion of mine, along with, as I said, the other side of things, in so much as the physical side of things, because essentially the drugs didn't work. You know, I spent most of my life in pain, and I spent a large portion of my time an alcoholic because, frankly, although alcohol wasn't the solution, it was more fun, or perceived fun, you know. But then again, that gave me an opportunity to understand addiction. So all of these things have come into my life. So one of my primary concerns was that I wasn't stupid. So I've wanted to prove, if nothing else, but to myself, that I wasn't stupid as a result of my head injury or brain damage. I completed my bachelor's degree in 1997, where I was first introduced to quantum physics. And oh my goodness, that blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind, because it began to enable me to explain a lot of the metaphysical stuff that is often brushed under the carpet because it's not explainable by classical physics. I then went on to complete my doctorate at the University of Oxford. I was very, very fortunate. I actually got in through the back door. My supervisor moved halfway through my degree, and I said, "Yes, thank you, I'll come with you." But all looks good. And then I embarked upon my career in a corporate sense. So I got into physical energy. So pretty much everything I've done across the board is energy related. I started my first business in 2007, and then I co-founded a company in 2014, having done a sort of MBA type qualification, company developing supercapacitors. So I got a whole lot. I'm so grateful for that journey. It was just the most incredible journey, but I got a whole lot of experience in fundraising, starting companies, how to operate throughout the spectrum of the company, which has been really good. I think essentially I've always just followed my heart and done what I've felt most passionate about doing, even if it hasn't made any sense whatsoever in terms of my education. And I like, for example, I've worked in marketing and sales. I've worked in online recruitment industry. I've worked for IBM and HP and lots and lots of different things. And it only really started to make sense a couple of years ago when everything fell into place. And I was like, oh, I see, that's why I've done all of these crazy things, you know. So yeah, I think one of my most proud achievements is a book that I wrote, which is I initially wrote this for my children, you know. So just briefly, I attended a so-called ADHD workshop for my youngest son, and halfway through, the very well qualified coach said, "You're going to have to shut up now." And I was like, "Okay." And she said, "But I want you to write a book." So I took that challenge, and I wrote the first draft in 3 months, and I sent it to her because, you know, I have no formal qualification in human psychology, and I wanted to make sure I wasn't talking rubbish, if nothing else. And what she came back with was just mind blowing. She said that if every parent in the world read this book, the world would be a better place. And I was blown away and so grateful. I was so grateful for her providing me with that impetus. And even though my sons haven't read it yet, I'm hoping that one day it will provide them some value.
Jonathan, this is super and excellent information. I love it. You have such an illustrious career. Can you go into a little bit what you're doing now, what you're offering the world these days, what you're
Yeah, certainly.
up
I
to
mean,
these days? Yes.
good timing. I was just about to get there. Absolutely.
Ah,
So right now I call myself a holistic energy scientist. I'm a entrepreneur. I'm a business coach and mentor, board technical advisor, and aspiring non-exec director. All of that mainly in the energy generation, energy storage, and medical devices corporate environment. I'm a spiritual coach and mentor in the health and well-being arena. I'm a Reiki master teacher, and I have a workshop attempting to explain energy healing from a quantum physics perspective. I'm a prolific researcher and author. Again, personal development and spiritual energy and truth field. What I'm in the process of manifesting, as it were, at the moment, is to work with humanitarian organizations who are at the forefront of harmonizing humanity's existence with Earth.
so Jonathan, I know that you work with PMF devices. Can you talk about that for a minute or two?
Yeah, sure. I was introduced to what is Spooky 2 or Rife equipment in about 2017. And for the first time in my life, I was able to remove majority of my pain. It was just the most amazing thing. I mean, I was also beginning to learn Reiki at the same time, but what was most immediately effective and had longevity was the frequencies. So I went from an existence whereby I revered the change of season. So when autumn turned into winter or winter into spring, I could feel it in my body. I had a condition assimilated to that, something similar to rheumatism. But as soon as I switched those frequencies on, the majority of my day-to-day pain just vanished. It was quite incredible. Since then, I've expanded my suite. I've got about 10 devices now, and I also work with friends and family. I've never charged anything for my Reiki or healing, pulse electromagnetic frequency healing, but I have managed to cure cancer, prostate cancer, spelt with a K for the record, in a friend's father, where I was very fortunate that he refused any other treatment. So I knew that it was what I'd done that had had the effect, and it was just mind blowing. So the one of the advantages of these suites is a detox. So I run I think it's a 12-day full body detox permanently, and using that on my youngest son, who was diagnosed with so-called ADHD, within 2 months, the negative traits associated with the ADHD had gone in him. And I don't believe in coincidences.
Wonderful. And I saw a picture at your website about water. What are you doing with water?
Oh, I love water. Water for me is one of the most abundant but least understood substances on Earth. So one of the things I do with it, for example, is make colloidal silver. I make nano colloidal silver. colloidal silver itself is a natural antibiotic and antiseptic, and I've used it. So I've essentially not been ill with a cold or flu since 2019 with no medical intervention whatsoever. And one of the things I put that down to is the fact that I drink a small quantity of my nano colloidal silver every morning. So when I did have a bout of flu in last year, I managed to recover fully within 5 days using the colloidal silver. The way I make the colloidal silver is very special. It's very different to the conventional ways, and that is by restructuring and healing the water. So one of the articles I published most recently, which is on my website, is exactly how I did that and attempting to explain the science behind it. So restructured water is akin to that which has fallen onto a mountain and percolated through the small capillaries in the rock, and then been subject to the eddies and currents in the streams as it goes down. And it's the most healthy water you can get other than pure groundwater.
Yep, you're talking to the right community. A lot of us here, Kelly and I, talk about structured water, PEMF all the time.
Brilliant.
And I take colloidal silver every day. I love it. My last question for you in the time remaining, Jonathan, is all these skills you have, what are your next steps? In a couple of minutes, if you don't mind. So we have time for questions. Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you.
I mean,
it's a bit of a challenge for me because I have so many options and I want to do it all. I mean, I think I also work on free energy devices and so many different things. But I think where I really want to begin to move towards is organizations who are, as I said, in a humanitarian capacity, and who are open to the truth and open to moving forwards in the most positive way, in so much as harmonizing humanity with the earth. So I work a lot with frequencies in a lot of other different capacities, and I'd love to work with a company who was anywhere in that arena at the level of non-exec director or mentor coaching capacity. Kind of, and all of the other stuff too.
I know it sure sounds like a lot. Certainly, it sounds wonderful, and you'll get it all organized. I want to now open it up to questions, if we don't mind, Kelly, or we have Dan and we have Tim Phillips is back. Tim, haven't seen you in a while. I have not. How's everybody? Would anyone like to ask a question? I have tons, but go ahead. Come off mute if you'd like. You're fine.
Welcome. Thank you, guys. I have a question. It's fascinating background. Sorry I missed some of the early part of the meeting, but this is so intriguing. I think in your bio, you mentioned friction stir welding, and I was curious to figure out what exactly is that, John?
That's kind of you to ask. Yeah. So friction stir welding is welding dissimilar metallic materials in the absence of any melting. So essentially what you do is, if you've got a piece of aluminium and a piece of, well, usually the same, you butt them together and clamp them down, and then you use a tool with a shoulder and a pin, and you plunge the pin into the metal, and then whilst rotating it, push it across the joint. And what you get is a joint that is free from any distortion. So one of the projects I was very proud of was working with 16% chromium steel, so very hard steel, which is very difficult to weld normally. But most excitingly, I worked on the actual Eclipse airliner. So what they were doing was they wanted to reduce the weight of the material in the mainframe. So instead of using rivets, they did a friction stir joint. And I'm so happy to say that the exact aircraft, the test aircraft that we worked on, is now on display outside of the Welding Institute in Cambridge. That was a really exciting project.
You sound like a
Thank you for
savant,
asking.
Jonathan. You sound like a savant. It must be a lovely way to get all of this put together beautifully. Or not, but it sounds so great. I too like to do many things at once. Anybody else have any questions? Tim, I know you got a question or something to say. No? Well, it's wonderful to see you again, sir. Kelly? Anybody? Yeah, Kelly, come on. You don't need to raise your hand. Just come on, bro.
Well, I thought I would.
He's so nice.
This is fascinating, and I'm sorry again for not being on camera, but I wanted to say, John, when you were speaking, when we were speaking prior to the recording, I did receive your transmission, and I was like, wow, I feel even better because I was running frequencies before I got on here. I was having a little energetic hiccup because there's been a lot going on lately. Let's just put it that way. And I am a caregiver, and so yeah, a lot of my energy goes towards other things other than myself sometimes. So great reminders. But you both are very inspiring, and I've got my wheels going of like, when can I set up the time to interview you for a documentary? So, I mean, these are things in the future, you know, of course, because the production, the kind of things that I want to do for CHWE is feature different practitioners and people that are inspiring our world to become better people, and sharing your stories are, you know, they're both fascinating stories, and I feel very honored to be here and to be a part of this. So thank you both. So that's what I want to do, is just share my gratitude, because you both have stirred things up inside of me, and I feel like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna, you know, create the world that I want to live in, and help get the word out there, because, you know, this is just great to do it on this format alone, you know, and hopefully many other people will see this and you know, post once it's posted. But thanks again. I appreciate you guys.
So
Thank
great.
you, Kelly.
Yeah, Tristan, I have a question for you. When you were talking about your flow meditation, forgive me if I've missed it, but I was curious, do some of your, kind of a clump of questions, but do some of your some of your meditations have just sound or sound frequencies, or like sound baths, or you know, any binaural beats, anything like that, subliminals, anything underneath those meditations, and some without guided visualizations, just meditation? Yeah, like a Vipassana style. Yeah, go ahead.
You're on mute, Tristan.
All of
There we
the 18 immersive meditations that we've published have the option to turn music off and turn guidance off, however you want to do it. So you can just have pure surround nature sounds, no music, no guidance, or however you want to configure it. So yes, I'm all for that. And in terms of the frequencies and binaural beats, I definitely want to go in that direction. We haven't started in that direction yet, but I think it's definitely the future, because
Yeah.
I want to work with, I don't know, I want to find the right partners. Yes.
Yeah, well, Kelly is very smart in this area, but before he jumps back on, I do have a friend, her name's Sylvia, who does sound bath and frequencies, if you want to partner with her. But she's doing what you're doing with healing frequencies, supporting children with trauma. I mean, there's 8.5 billion of us on the planet. We need lots of us doing these similar things, but I could connect you if you want.
Yes.
I'm not trying to push her. I'm just saying, you're doing wonderful work. You don't need Liz sitting here saying anything, but wanted to ask about the options of your meditations. And then,
I would love to learn about that.
and then, John, I'll let you ask your question. Then I have a question for you, John. Come on.
Yeah, no, just for Tristan. I might have missed this, so I apologize if I have. Do you use any specific frequencies? Because I've been playing around a lot with the 432 hertz frequency recently, and I found it extremely valuable. But do you use
Yes.
specific frequencies, and as you said, do you use binaural beats?
I really want to go into that direction. I want to incorporate this. I want to find the right folks to partner with. I'm not an expert in this myself, but because I know the power of music and the power of nature sounds. And I'm an absolute believer in the power of frequencies and binaural beats and all of that good stuff. I've actually experienced, my friend owns the app, the Genius app, and she had it on her iPad, and I got to experience it and I love it.
Yeah, yeah,
I would like to, maybe we can collaborate with those guys. I don't know. You know
that's
those guys?
that is one of the ones that I've found so powerful recently.
Well,
Okay.
Kelly's
I'm a
also,
distributor.
Go ahead.
I'm a
Go ahead.
distributor.
Oh,
yeah.
So if anybody wants to know about, if you want a 14-day free trial, just send me your email and I will get that going for you. I work with Dr. Ariel Policano, and she will also do a 1-hour demonstration for you that we can set up. The Genius is incredible. That's one of the things that has pulled me through these few years of being with my dad. Going through many, many years of chemo and cancer. And he's running around like a brand new person now. And he's in remission. And he's 91. And he can
Wow.
Yeah, he's pretty amazing. So I've gotten to not only experience firsthand, and I had Lyme disease up until well, it's been a year now. Yeah, it's been a year like next month. So I've eliminated Lyme from my life. I've eliminated PTSD. I am doing really well, but I do have these energetic hiccups sometimes, especially when I'm working so much on other people. And here lately, I've been doing that. I've been doing a lot of frequency work for others, for the planet. You know, it takes its toll sometimes, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it. So I'm glad you said that. It's yeah, love the Genius, absolutely.
Yeah, you're in genius territory, you two. So, and in fact, in CHWE, we have posted a couple of calls with Ariel. You probably already know this stuff already, but you can go watch those, Jonathan, if you want. They're pinned to the top of the chat on CHWE. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Tristan, Jonathan, a question for you. Have you, with all your skills and all your offerings you want to offer humanity, have you thought of starting a kind of subscription service? So maybe a little bit like what Tristan's doing, or I have radionics friends who put people in the KRT wells, like I'm talking radionics talk now, but who do, and even Raymond Grace, who does pendulum work. They have subscription services where they'll heal people, $29 a month, 19, whatever it is, and treat people every month and have subscription services. It might be a way to get some funding for all your great work. Just a crazy thought.
Well, that's really very gratefully received, because I'm in the process of really structuring how I remunerate myself, because as I said, I've shied away from charging, particularly for Reiki. I couldn't get my head around charging for unconditional love. It just didn't.
Yes, but spiritual workers deserve to get paid too. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I mean, we got bills to pay too, right? Girls got bills.
Yeah.
But just a thought.
No, thank you very much. That's something I definitely want to follow up on. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? We're kind of 10 minutes left to the hour. We can end early, stay a few minutes late, but anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Has maybe John and Tristan, have you dabbled into light therapy with sound frequencies? Have you combined or experimented with any of those?
I guess I'll answer quickly. We have not done that yet, and I've experienced that, the infrared stuff at biohacker summits. Oh, sorry. Go. Yeah, I've experienced it, but haven't incorporated it into flow. I think that's definitely part of our future, as these technologies are going to become more prevalent and more accessible. And I think that's what people will want when they go into a wellness room, that they'll have access to things like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Not on the immediate roadmap, but maybe that's more John's realm.
Well, I concur with you. I mean, I think I'm similar. I've experienced it, and I know of it, but I haven't actually worked with it myself yet. I know that I've used a lot of infrared equipment. I guess I'm more tending towards the sound frequency stuff, and that's where my main focus and main interest has been. But like yourself, Tristan, I have some experience of it, but a little knowledge is dangerous, as they say.
Right. And we don't have to do everything with our therapies, right? We can focus and do as we feel led and how we feel called. I think it's all great. I've been playing with the Terrigen. I think it's called a Terrigen. Kelly, hop on. I know Ariel sells it with the blue light therapy. And I have looks like a hair dryer. Looks like a blow dryer with blue light. So I've been playing with that, but I haven't played much with infrared. Anybody else have any questions? Well, in that case, Tristan, do you want to take a few more minutes, and then Jonathan, take a few more minutes to the end of the hour? Anything else you'd like to say, my new friends?
Thank you. I'm, again, just very grateful for the opportunity to connect with this particular community. I get a lot of pleasure out of tuning in to UNN 3 times a week and really absorbing the what's happening in our multiverse. endless fascination and laughs and reassurance. It's actually helped me to let go of worry about what's going on in our world and just trust that really God is in charge of everything, and he really cares about each and every one of us. And we're going in a very good direction to enter into a golden age. And I always felt that when I was a kid, that there would be bright times ahead. And if we think about our grandparents, what they witnessed in their lifetimes, going from no cars to look at the world we have today, and then what we can see in our lifetime is going to be really phenomenal. So grateful to be alive at this time, and that we are becoming, as humanity, becoming more empowered to really, to live our dreams and to have more love and care for ourselves and for everyone. So that's,
And we're all here for such a time as this, right? We're here at this time for this reason. I love it. Jonathan, any final words?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I've known since I was about 14 years old that something incredible, something magical was going to happen in my lifetime. I didn't know what it was, but I think a lot of us have had those inclinations for most of our lives, and I think having been through the dark stages of researching and finding out about the nefarity and then coming out the other side and realizing just what an amazing and beautiful adventure this is, and what an amazing opportunity we have as humanity to derive ourselves the lives and opportunity essentially for ascension that we have at this time. It's just incredible. I send one of the things that's kept me going a lot is the groups of millions of people worldwide who've been praying for peace and for love, for humanity and for the earth for so long. And from a quantum physics perspective, it can be no other way. It's really one of the most beautiful times we could ever imagine, and I'm so grateful. I think if anybody listening wants any healing at all, then please reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to talk to you. But as we've already discussed, you'll have to pay me. So,
Awesome. And we all get to restore Earth together and be abundant. Yes, and healthy and happy and whole.
Exciting times,
Exactly.
really exciting times.
So Jonathan, Dan is asking, how can I order John's book? Is there a website? Yeah, we're going to post this. Why don't you put your website in the chat, Jonathan? You too as well, Tristan. I'll post the chat text, but also when we do post your videos, post your information, like I said before the call, for the recording, post your websites, all your stuff underneath the chats. Okay.
Yeah. Will do.
Yeah, absolutely. And then
So
Well,
that,
there's
let's
no-
put it in the chat for you. Thank you.
Good, good. And I'm gonna download the recording off the cloud and put it all on CHWE, and then we'll have our hire person put it up on the web app, and this is all great. Well, if you're all good, I'm gonna take us off recording, okay?
Yes. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for popping in. It's amazing.
It's been an honor and a
Thank
pleasure
you.
to be with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, guys. Appreciate it.